see if anybody comes in. You know, I guess I should have done this instead. One person's looking in just to see what I'm doing. I don't know the best way to do this other than maybe do a editing pick. Maybe I should have done it before I went online. Hi, Kieran. How are you? Had a hunch one of these might be you. It's good to have you here. One of my favorite people on the internet. Now, I have a lot of favorite people, but you're one of them. Let me see. How do I want to do this? Which one do I want to wipe out? This one. Well, hi, Dale. How are you? Another one of my favorite people on the internet. Isn't that amazing? The people who come to my chat are my favorite people on the internet. Let's see. Open with paint. I'm just going to wait a little bit and see who else might come in. How are you feeling today, Dale? A little better than even yesterday, I hope. So, what's the first thing I want to do? I'm doing some behind the scenes stuff right now, waiting to see who comes in. Let's see, what brush do I want? They don't give you a big enough size. They really don't. Oh no, that'll take forever. I know, I'll cheat. Welcome, Mando Project. Mando Project. How are you? I'm just sort of killing a little time to see if a few more people show up before I start broadcasting everything. There, that works better. All right. I don't know. I'm doing okay. Just as usual, when I go online, a bit bored, although the weather's nicer today, but I haven't really gone out of the house. I'm getting ready to run some trains, but I'm just going to see who shows up. We're up to 5. There's Chris. How are you, Chris? Another one of my favorite people on the world of YouTube. Let's see how this looks. I'm working on some behind the scenes for this layout. I should have done it before I went online, but well, what can I say for this layout, for this live stream? Doobie doobie doo, shoo doobie 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 doo. Whoops. I might want that in Holy cow, that's how small it's going to be? Go big or go home, as they say. Well, we'll see how this works. So, Mando, do I know you by another name, or is this your first time visiting the chat? Because I don't recognize your name. I apologize if we have chatted before and I've forgotten. Oh my goodness, Anthony Dodge, could you stop double capitalizing letters? You and your stupid nerves in your fingers. Let's go that way. Yes, I like that print much better. Oh my goodness, if I could stop double capitalizing when I type. Again, I don't mean to bore you guys. Here, I'll put this up. No, Mando Project or Project is easy for me. You don't have to change your name or anything. I just want to make sure. Yeah, that's plenty easy. I just noticed it was the German spelling. Or, well, at least I recognize it as the German spelling for project, Projekt, der Projekt. But anyhow, let's see. We're slowly getting people in here. You guys all know the warning. I'll try to go to my old college radio voice. Warning. The content of this stream is not suitable for children under the age of 16. The language, themes, attitude, and personality of the presenter was not suitable for his own children when they were young, and he was a permissive parent. Yet he behaved that way anyhow. Topics discussed on this live stream will not center on trains and can focus on anything except politics. It just happens some trains are running. Any similarity between characters, situations, trains, and intelligent thoughts is strictly a coincidence, and any rebroadcast or transmission of the stream without the expressed written consent of Major League Baseball is strictly prohibited. Viewer discretion is advised. This channel is a not-so-proud member of YouTube's all-encompassing special society of heavily overwhelmed layout enthusiasts. You can work out the acronym for yourself. Remember the rules for layouts and channels showing layouts is number 1, rule 1, it's your layout, do what you want. Number 2, don't tell someone what to do unless they ask you what they should do. And number 3, don't call out, criticize, or mock another channel on your channel. You may criticize and mock this channel in the comments, but not anyone else's channel. For those of you not familiar, here is a map drawn by my friend Vinnie Van Gogh. Vinnie drew out my layout for me on the right-hand side as you are looking. I am right here, facing. I am looking at my laptop, so I'm kind of on an angle. My Central Station 3 is right here to my left. My tablet is a little further to my left. just so you're looking at. So on my right, we have the little station area, which on camera is called the 11-lane view because if you count them yourselves, you can see there's 11 lanes. On the far side, we have the big station. That is an area that will eventually be turned into the Bremen main train station and transportation hub. On the left-hand side is the area of my layout that has a little bit more done. It is the Delmenhorst station. By the way, am I sounding like a Dalek right now? So, anyhow, this is an actual recreation of the Bahnhof in the city of Delmenhorst, which is a suburb of Bremen. And there's a bus center in front of it, and that's all that I've actually built. Everything else that is on this map right now is just temporary stuff I threw on. Yes, I have been building this particular version of the layout for 2 years, and still that's all I've done is the bus station and the train station. There are 5 cameras situated around the layout. In the upper right hand, well, I'll do them in order, but you can see them on the map. I'll start in the bottom left-hand corner. That's technically view 1. Camera 1, that is the station. To the upper left-hand corner is what's called up the ramp. In the upper right-hand corner is the long view because it gives you the longest view of this station, of this layout, the longest run of trains. Then coming around clockwise, we have the 11-lane view, which lets you see the most trains in action. And then we have what's called the village view, which shows trains coming out of the station. So to give you a bit of how they look in the main form, there is the station view, and you can see the Delmenhorst platforms and the bus station down below with the Fowler car system, which I still haven't worked on a week and a half after finally getting the parts. It requires a couple of people, and I have to wait till my shaking fingers aren't so shaky to get under the table and work on it. But the main parts are working, the outer areas are not working. And then we will go, here is the village view coming out of the station. So this is right to my left. I could almost stick my hand in the camera there if I zoom backwards. Here is the 11-lane view, and you see the 6 trains that are going to be running today. As always, my Austrian Railjet is being presented, as well as my German ICE-3. I am running my 101 locomotive, the Märklin Anniversary Special, with a rake of IC1 high-speed cars. I'm still running my IC2, and my metronome is making a return here. So we will get those fired up in a second. And then here is the long run, as it's called. For those of you who don't know, Delmenhorst is a town of about 72,000 people in the northwestern part of Germany, near the city of Bremen. It's about 9 miles west of Bremen, or about 19-20 miles southeast of the town of Oldenburg. Bremen and Oldenburg are 2 major hubs in northwest Germany, rail hubs, and Delmenhorst is stuck right between them on the rail line. Anyhow, so let's go back to the trains. I'll get some trains running while I'm messing with something else. And then I will talk about what I'm going to talk about as more people show up. Yeah, I put the crappy car on the metronome. I do have it working, but it is working better if I run it with the cab car going first and the locomotive pushing. I was doing it for a test run earlier today. It seems to be working, so I'm happy with that. So let's fire some people up. Let's get their lights all going. There we go. And get your lights on. Make sure everybody's going to be going the right direction. And bing, 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 bing. I think that's the right way. Yeah. Okay. I'm just firing some things up here, so bear with me. And making sure everybody's good to go. But yes, Kieran, I did get it working. All right, so yeah, let's get the trains going, and then you guys can. I want to make sure I've got everybody going in the right direction here. But I always like this guy to. Well, he's too far out of range, so. The Austrian Railjet is called the Singing Locomotive. Its engine in real life does play scales. When the engine takes off, it goes da 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 da. You know, you don't want to hear me singing any more than that. Do re mi fa sol la ti do. All right, so let's do it in reverse order today. So let's start our little diesel in the background. All my trains have anywhere from 12, 15 to 30 sound and light functions, but I tend to run them without the sound functions because it's quite the cacophony on this microphone. And this microphone picks up low sounds well, and my voice projects well, so even when I've got the microphone turned down, my voice projects loud. So that gentleman is happily going. Let's start off with Mr. Metronome, because he was already running nicely a little bit ago. So let's get him up to about, let's say about 60 kilometers an hour. Yeah, maybe I'm doing more than 60 there. I like to keep them a little slower than actual scale because, well, 60 miles an hour, not 60 kilometers an hour. All right, let's go with this gentleman next. He'll take a second to, whoops. Not you. No, 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 buddy, you're going the wrong way. You are going the wrong way. I had you all set up. Why did you turn around and start going the other way? All right. Looking good, looking good. Now let's try. All right, time for the IC2. Or I'm sorry, the IC2 is running the ICE3. He's gonna take off. And finally, we'll get our railjet going. I'm going to run everybody a little slower than I normally do today. All right. Now, every train I'm running today except my Austrian Railjet is a Märklin brand train. In terms of favorite liveries, I mean, I'm a fan of the Deutsche Bahn white with the red stripe on their high-speed trains, but the Austrian Railjet is my favorite locomotive. It is just so pretty, and I've never actually ridden on one, but I've been on one. I've walked on at a couple of stations and just looked around. They are so gorgeous inside and out. I love the Austrian Railjets. So we're going to put this on the all view. Pardon? Yeah, I wouldn't mind an ice water. That's okay. Well, you're slightly on camera for a minute. Mrs. Dodge is bringing me my lunch. So, yeah, here you can see everything going on. Yeah. The metronomes are nice trains. They're a private company. I will say this about the metronomes. The people that work on the metronomes, along with the people who work on Nordwestbahn, are probably the toughest in terms of when they come through the trains. And if you're wearing shoes and you kick your foot up on a seat, they'll yell at you. You don't do that. Thank you. You can say hi if you want, or hang on. There you go. Joyce is here, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Yep. We've got just a small group right now. I was going to announce the 500 subscriber contest, but I was going to wait for more people to show up. So this is my all view. It's the best way I can fit the the 5 cameras in. Technically, I have a 6 view where I pop my head in as well, but meh. And then I will rotate. I'll try to keep an eye on the chat better than I usually do. Some days I'm good at it, some days I'm bad. Hey, welcome back, Damian Laffer. Nice to have you here again. I'll be talking about the contest as we go. Let's see, I gotta change my keyboard here real quick. I think it's alternate E here. Yep, yay, it works. I just don't know how to make the pound sound. There, that's good enough. Alright, so I will now hit File, Save As. Where do I want to save this? 500 sub. Okay, so now I can close that. Now the hard part. My lunch. So if you hear loud chewing, sorry. Okay, I do want to take a moment and show you one thing. I'm gotta mess this up a bit. Let's go with the village view. But this is the easiest camera to move. So let's see, how's that angle there? All right, come here, camera. Yes, we're going to get air sick for a minute, but pardon the shaking hands. This is my control system. I have the Merklin Central Station 3, and through the use of Merklin apps, I can control trains on my tablet. There's the computer, so there's your infinity bit. I also have an additional computer right now that also has my Merklin Central Station 3 on it. So I can have all the trains up and moving, all their functions. So if you've seen people with the Z21, it's the same thing, except I think the Central Station, as well as the E-Costs, are superior to the Z21 overall. For most of you guys, there's no difference. The Z21 is awesome, but this is the command center and my microphone, and these are called mobile stations. Yeah, you get the feedback there. So yeah, the hands are already shaking. So this is why when you hear me talk about working on things, I can't work on things anymore. The nerves are just gone in my hands. But, so I can control different trains. So that's my setup. I'm going to go put this back so you're going to get even sicker, but we'll follow this guy in. Okay, so, yeah, that's way off. Much better. Whoops, too far. Come on, work with me, work with me. Good enough. Okay, so let's go back to the... Now let's go 11 lane for a bit and watch everybody come through. Yes. Mando, the Central Station 3 does work with DC. It is AC, DC, and of course, it reads DCC chips. Miraklin is all, well, I shouldn't say all protocols. It is the main protocols. The ECOS, the ESU ECOS, does more protocols. It reads Scaletrix and several other chips, but, you know, programming protocols. You know, the two main ones are obviously, there's Miraklin, which has several different forms. There's the Miraklin the Miraklin Motorola, which was their old protocol, which then became MFX, which is now MFX Plus, which allows them to put up to 40 operation functions, as well as what do they call it? Multi functions on one button. For example, I have one button that plays a multitude of different announcements. It has 3 buttons that do announcements on this one train, but the one button alone makes multiple announcements. So it's got a however that works. I'm not a computer geek guy anymore. Now, whether something is worth it or not, the Miraklin Central Station 3 is expensive. I think the cheapest you would find it brand new in the United States, well, yeah, in the United States, the cheapest you'd find it brand new is $600. In the UK, probably 525 to 550 pounds, guineas, quid, whatever you say. In Denmark, does Denmark use the kroners? I'm sorry, I forget the Danish money, because I know the Czech Republic is kroners, but I thought Denmark used kroners as well. What that translates as is Denmark, I don't know. Mando, that's how I started. I did the, I started with the Miraklin Mobile Station, which is their cheaper handheld controller. And then I actually bought an ESU ECOS, which I loved, but it had some issues with a couple of trains. And I really decided, since everything I was doing was Miraklin, I just figured Miraklin would work better with Miraklin, which is true. So I bought the Central Station 3 a couple of years ago. Yay! Memory's good. Alright, so I'm going to call you Martin now. Martin. I see that you added that. But I will say I'm not really good with the what the conversion rate right now is. I know what it is with the Czech kroner, but I don't know what it is with the Danish krone. I know it's... Speaking of Denmark, there was a Danish company that just went out of business, I think, last year. I think Brava has kind of taken them over. Hobby Trade. not hobby train. Hobby trade was based up there near Copenhagen, maybe north of Copenhagen. But oh my goodness, they made gorgeous cars, and you couldn't get them in the United States. And now that the company's out of business, they are so expensive. Hobby Trade made awesome passenger cars. I would love to have the Hobby Trade Regiobahn cars. Those were gorgeous. I would love to find them. Yeah, Kieran, unfortunately these systems, the ECOS claims it can run analog, and the Z21 claim they can run analog, but you have to do something to do that. You have to monkey around with something to do it. But if you're running analog, you don't need one of the fancy controllers. Yeah, from what I understand, Martin, they went out of business. Brava is now has taken over their stock and is selling it on the Brava site. But yeah, Hobby Trade, their website is, I think, still up. But yes, they. I thought they were some of the. I never owned them, so I can't say how great they were. But every video I've seen them with, and anybody I met who had them, just said they're the best cars out there. And compared to Jagendorfer Collection, which makes excellent cars, Fleischmann, which used to make excellent cars, and Märklin makes great stuff, and Rocco makes great stuff. Pico is all over the place. Some of their stuff is awesome, some of their stuff is crap. It's just what level of it you buy. Now let's go to the all view for a second. Hello, Barnabas. Welcome. Nice to have you aboard, Jason. Now let's see if I do this. You may see the screen go black for a second. Uh-oh. We're good. We're good. Sorry, I keep forgetting there's a stupid delay there. Alright, let's see where I did put it. So it's in layout plans. Yes. Alright, I'm going to do that again in a couple of minutes because I want to post this up here as soon as we get more people. So like I said, no need to panic. I was trying to load something up on my OBS and it switched to the new screen I was loading on. I do use OBS. The one thing I gotta learn to do with OBS is to put live computer feeds onto it. I have messed with it, and I still haven't figured it out. But now I know where to look for what I want, so I may do it again, but I didn't want to cause a panic. Let's see. Anything happen on the long view? No. Let's do up the ramp. Nope, not that. That's not up the ramp. We just passed the ramp. Station. Hey, there we go. A couple of guys pulling through the station. We'll actually have a couple of trains stopping at the station a little later on. Well, let's go back to the 11 lane. More action in the back, so let's do the long run. I'm going to get you guys travel sick here, bouncing back and forth between all these screens. Just water, kids. Not vodka, not gin, just water. so far as you know. But yes, I do have a couple of blinking areas. I had a couple areas at track I really need to clean, but I can't reach them. My cleaner cars do a decent job and improve it, but um, yeah, I need to clean my track again. I just got done cleaning it last month, and I gotta clean it again. Go figure. You'd think track would stay clean for a month or two. Yeah, those are Austrian rail jets, Jason. Um, which is the Austrian high-speed train. So yeah, they are. It's my favorite model train. It's probably my favorite real-life train, even though I am biased towards German trains. But again, I do love the clean white with red stripe of the German high-speed, the ICEs and the ICs, since I have three of them on the track today. I do have an ICE1 and an ICE2, which are parked. They're not running today. The ICE1 will not run. It will be going to the hospital as soon as I get a couple of more cars for it. I'm going to have it sent off and get a modern chip put in it. It's an older version. I want to get a nice brand new chip in it. This is one of my favorite scenes when all the trains pass each other. Yes, not prototypical. You would never see that in reality, but you see it on my train table. Let's go to the long run. We got a couple of guys coming. And eventually we'll have some guys going too. Just different angles. Yes, I know vodka is clear too. But I don't like vodka. I'm not a big liquor drinker. I will occasionally drink beer. It's got to be German or Czech or Belgian beer. I haven't had Danish beer yet. I'm sorry, Martine. Someday I'll get to Denmark and have Danish beer. You can tell me what the best Danish beer is so I know what to ask for. I have been to Europe, 17 times, 16 times, 17 times now. But it's been Germany, Austria, a little bit of the Netherlands, and I've been in the Czech Republic a couple of times. Been to Prague for a day. Wow, Prague is an amazing city. But Denmark and Copenhagen are on the bucket list, along with Oslo and Norway, Stockholm in Sweden, and Helsinki in Finland. Someday my wife and I hope to make a Scandinavian trip. We'll see. Next year it's Germany again, and then 2022 it's 4 weeks in the UK. And I don't know if that will be my last trip or not. Hopefully I'll be able to do the Scandinavia trip in 2023 or 2024. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, the screen is going to go black again. Just beware, the screen is going to go black again. Sorry about that. Yeah, I forgot to add the mic. That might have helped. Sorry about that. I forgot to add a mic. Now, again, the key here is you must be a subscriber as of yesterday. In other words, if somebody just joined today because they saw the title of this, you're not in. So hopefully you've joined beforehand. But it cannot be something about the live streams. It has to be from one of the Model Train Outsider Series videos. There's 40 of them. So you can go quickly, watch one. Actually, there's 38 where the ghost appears. And you have to, in the comments section below this video, not in the video where it happens, but in this video, for this live stream, when the comments section is open after this gets posted when I'm done, you have to label, oh, I like the bit where the ghost said, kiss my butt, or I like the bit where you threw the can of pop at the ghost. Neither of those happen, so you can't use those. But that's it. If you want to enter, you just pick a favorite bit, a favorite scene between me and the ghost. That proves that you watched at least once. And then I will pick the winner next week sometime. I will do it with the sort of the lottery spin wheel thing. My wife knows how to do it, so she'll set it up. But again, the winner gets $50 American dollars, or the Canadian equivalent, which I think is like $58. Or you get 44 euros if you're in a Euro-speaking country, or I will figure out what the exchange rate is for Danish kronas, and if you're in England, I'll get you 40. You'll get 40 pounds. Now, I can do this as a gift card. I can do this as a PayPal, send cash, friends, whatever. I can work it out most ways, but this is for you to go do whatever you want. Go out to dinner, go to a train shop. I originally was going to try to do it as a gift certificate to the train shop of your choice, but paying for that was really going to be crazy. So I'll work out with the winner, I'll work out how to get them the money, okay? With the winner, I'll work out how to get the money to them. I can do, those gift credit cards, a gift card, and mail it to you, which means in England it would take you about 6 weeks to get it. But it's $50 American dollars or the exchange rate equivalent in the cash of your choice. Hi, Heath. How are you? So yeah, we're not getting a lot of people in today, but that's all right. This will be up, and I will mention it here and there elsewhere. But that's the contest. I'll post this up a couple of more times later on, but let's go back to trains running. We'll fire them all up. But that is my contest. So the key is you have to put them in the comments section of this video. And you got to wait till this video is uploaded. You know, don't put it in the live stream. Not in the live stream. It's got to be in the comments section of this live stream. So back to trains. Well, sadly, Heath, you're going to have to pick one specific one. You've already watched one, so you could just... Again, I'm not asking everybody to go through all of them, but the thing is, they are tied together. And there are... very few people watch all 20 to 35 minutes of my Model Train Outsider videos. There are ghost bits in the middle, at the end, and there's only a couple of people I know that actually have watched everything in my entire videos, and they know the full story that's going on between me and the ghost, because a special video will be coming out, as I've been announcing for 2 weeks, but we're trying to work out the filming time, because we've got to have some friends help us with making the video. So we've got to have friends and family help us, and it's trying to arrange everybody's schedule so they can do this. There's a special video involving the ghost coming out soon. Hopefully, 2 weeks ago I said in a couple of weeks. Well, it's still a couple of weeks away. Can you comment in your alter ego comment? Hey, your alter ego can comment because only one is going to win. So you better work out with your alter ego how you're going to split the winnings. Speaking of which, I'm going to eat a bit more of my lunch. Hello, Gerald Lynch. Thank you for that comment. I don't think I have the best Märklin setup. There's about 10,000 in Germany alone that are way better than mine. I can think of at least 40 German train sites I'm subscribed to that make mine look like a 3-year-old was throwing paste everywhere. And I've struggled trying to find fellow Americans. I know there's hundreds, if not thousands, of Americans, thousands of Americans who do Märklin. There is a Märklin USA group, and all these gentlemen do much better. There's a guy named Geza Honecker that's from Pennsylvania that's got an amazing layout. But again, I do just, let's see what's about to happen here. Hey, that's a great plan, Heath. The problem is you just put it out in the live stream and now everybody can steal your idea. Any old rag will do. I don't know, sometimes I think this is one of my better shots because it's a good camera and it's colorful. It's just, this is the one area I don't have a lot of trains active in it, because only 3 trains will come in or out. Martin, a layout on the floor is awesome. I think it's awesome when because you can build something different every time, change things around if you want. And if you're not changing things around, you're not worried about building baseboards. And if you're young enough to crawl along the floor to control everything and deal with everything, that's fantastic. Yeah, again, people are commenting in the live stream. You gotta write it in the comments below. And it's gotta be enough that I would know exactly what scene you're talking about. I like that one time you yelled at him. Nope, not gonna work. And again, most of the time it's at the beginning of the video, so the opening intro is always 44 seconds long, and then the Ghost and Me interplay. Although recently there have been some mid-scenes and end of scenes. And if you really want to know the one, for example, the ones my family enjoy, it's the 200 subscriber 1-year anniversary of this channel special. It's an hour of video, and it took us a week and a half to film it all. But all my family participated in it, and they had a blast. And we had a lot of jokes my family helped write. So if they're bad, you can blame my family too. The size is amazing. Thank you, Jason. The use of the size is not the best. There's a guy, he's called Tommy Canada, and he does Märklin. Now, originally he did his he did his videos in both English and German. He is a German who lives in Canada, and originally he was doing an English and a German version of his thing, and he's got a beautiful house, a beautiful yard. He lives near the lake in Toronto. So, Tommy, you're rich. I don't know if you know it, Tommy, but you're rich. And he started as a follower of my channel when I started doing the Märklin. And he decided he wanted to get back into Märklin. He had some old Märklin and decided he wanted to build a layout, and he started doing it. But he's doing it the intelligent, great way in his basement. I don't know if he calls it a basement, but it's the lowest level of his house. And he's doing a proper layout. My thing is, my layout was always based on the city of Delmenhorst and recreating this train station and the market square area near the train station. And so I don't have a lot of mountains, hills, and curves and stuff like that. Originally it was going to be 2 levels, and then my wife really said we need the storage space underneath the table, so that took out the second level. So now it really is just a big hoop. Or a big C, but it's just trains running in circles. Yep, nothing really happening there. Let's do up the ramp for a bit. This is always a good shot too. Pizza! I'm sorry, did I miss a comment? Was somebody asking? Yes, the little dots. I mean, this is a good close-up of it. Those, what look like black dots, that is actually the third rail. Coming at you live in 3D. So that is a short piece of track. But there's 3 rails in there. That's a great angle. That really lets you see it. But that's the actual powering rail. The 2 wide rails are actually your neutrals. But because it has the 3 contacts instead of 2, you get a better flow. And then all the trains have a little ski that run on the nail. Now, some people look at this and they go, oh, it's not prototypical. Well, you don't have to use this kind of track. 3 rail is really a German Central European thing, although G scale is 3 rail. But that's how they do it. And then this is pre-ballasted, pre-bedded. And again, you say, that's not realistic. There are parts of Germany where this is exactly what the bedding looks like, exactly what the ballast looks like. But the key is, when you hold the rail up, you don't see the nubs. You don't see the nubs. So visually, it's not in the way. It's when you're standing above it at an angle, you can see the nubs. But yeah, that's that. Okay, let's see what's going on. Nah, that's empty. Let's do village view. Yeah, see the ICE going into the station. And yes, my daily comment. Oh, hi, Rachel. Nice to see you. Oh, nobody's there now. Let's do another up the ramp, because my favorite train's coming through. Pizza! No, Kato is not interchangeable. Märklin only works with Märklin in this style. This is called Märklin C-Track. Atlas, Kato, and the German Pico, and the German company Roko, German Pico, P-I-K-O, they all make this type of track, but only Märklin's is designed. Let's go back to it. Hate it when you get something between your teeth. Let's go back to this. But only this style of Märklin is set up where you don't have to do drop wiring. All the wiring is done underneath the track. You just plug your stop signal, or for example, I keep showing this, but maybe new people, it's the first time. Here's a turnout. Now, I want all of you who run regular DC track, or if you run AC, you use the Märklin K-Track, which is the realistic looking stuff, and that's interchangeable with everybody, you know. It's like having Bachmann and Pico track, and you can basically line them up together. Anyhow, I want you to think how long it would take you to install this point with a point motor and make it digital so that you could run it with your Z21 or whatever Digitrax or Gauge Master digital control system you have. How long would it take you to make this motorized and digital? It would take me 5 minutes. And it's in the layout running. 5 minutes. The motor and the decoder fit right inside here. They plug into the little, let me put these up here where you can see them. Come on, light, work with me, light, work with me, light. That's a little bit of light there. So the motor and the decoder fit underneath this track. They plug in here. You put it on the track. My central station reads it, or my mobile station reads it. Bam, motorized. So 5 minutes to put the decoder, the decoder, and that includes setting the address of the decoder because it's got 10 binary buttons, and you just, okay, I want this to be address 105, so it's 1 up, 4 up, 6 up, whatever, and connect it to the motor, connect the motor power and the decoder power to the correct phalanges. Boom, it's in 5 minutes. I have a digital decoder turnout running. No soldering, no drop wires, nothing. So there's a trade-off. You lose a little bit of reality prototype with these, but you gain a monster level of saved wiring and everything else. It's just, and they make a DC version. Of course, that is 3-rail. Let's go back to trains. You don't want to see my face. They make a DC version of this. It's through a company called Trix, T-R-I-X, Trix. But Trix is also, Trix is DC, 2-rail. But it looks just like this. It's C-Track. It's called Trix C-Track. Let me punch that in. Hey, hi, Timber Surf. Hey, I don't say AC is better than DCC, or, you know, again, we talk about AC versus DCC, and I know you're a big computer and tech and tool guy, Timber, but the problem is in this hobby, we have arguments. I've had arguments with people about AC power versus DC power, you know, the how the electricity flows through your system, which is what my rails are, AC 3-rail. And then technically my system is DCC as well, digital command control. It's just mine uses a different, well, mine reads DCC programming language, but it also reads Märklin Motorola programming language, and the new forms of it called MFX and MFX Plus. So there are pros and cons, like everything. It's not that one's better. There's pros and cons. The pros of using this C track are how easy it is to make it digital. How easy and quickly you can get it up and running and make it digital. You just put it together, plug in what you want to plug in, and bam, it's running. There's no drop wiring. There's no soldering. I run this layout with 2 wires. This entire layout with 6 trains running and 6 more parked. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm up to 13 trains. Or 13 locomotives. That are all on the powering grid right now. Now, they're not all have their functions turned on, but I have a positive and a negative wire. One power wire that runs from my Central Station 3 to one of the tracks in front of me, and that powers this whole thing. That's what's powering this whole thing right now. No drop wires, no bus wires, nothing anywhere else, just those 2 wires in the middle here. And even Merklin says you should probably add extension connections when it's this long, but I haven't needed to do that yet. But with the C track, you lose prototype. You lose it looking exactly the way you think it should look. That's where Merklin makes its K track. Merklin makes what's called K track, which looks just like ordinary rail track, except it's got the little nub down the middle. But then it looks more like prototype ballasting in that. Well, hey, Tommy, your ears were burning. I just mentioned you and your webpage. Your channel. Let me knight some more people here. If you would like to post a link to your channel or another channel, feel free to advertise a group, somebody else's channel. Doesn't have to be your own. Everybody basically has been given moderator powers, so you can post any link to any video or channel you want, as long as it's models or train related. Doesn't have to be model trains. It can be model cars. It can be model planes. It could be wargaming. Hey, David Catasmore, I missed you. Maybe I did miss the point, Timber, because I'm only catching half of the comments right now. Live and neutral. The rail is, the wire's going in. But there are people in the UK who run this track and who run this style of system. It's just very rare. And then there's Jim at Hover Motion who runs he runs German trains, but he uses he does it in DC, not AC. But he's all German trains. Although he just did the Robertson rocket. Is that it? Robertson rocket. All right, we've got a few more people coming in. So if you're curious how this works, I'm going to pop this up again. Here's how my contest works. You must have already been a subscriber before I started this live feed. Then, to enter in the comment section, not in the live stream, in the comment section, after this video goes up, when I end the stream, in the comment section, list a scene. Mention a particular scene from one of the 40
well, there's 40 official videos, but there's like 4 other things that are included. Of those 40 official videos, the ghost appears in 38 of them. So just mention clear enough one scene. You know, technically it's supposed to be one you liked. One of the funny bits between me and the ghost. I liked it when the ghost did this, or I liked it when you did this to the ghost. If you want to mention the episode it was in as well, you can, but mention just something that happened between me and the ghost of 2015. And if you do that, the winner will get 50 American dollars, or the Canadian equivalent, 44 European euros as we call them. Or if you're from like Denmark, then it would have to be Krone. Or if you're from the Czech Republic, I have one guy from the Czech Republic, it'd be Kroner. Whatever it is in your money, I know it's like times American dollars times 26. So like 1 American dollar gets you 26 kroners in the Czech Republic. Or you get 40 Great British pounds sterling. And once I select the winner, I'll let you know. We'll work out how to get you your winnings. Wow, I'm blasting this to the yellow now, sorry. Well, I appreciate you saying that, David. You only need to mention one, because each person gets 1 entry. So did we answer your question, Timber Surf? The criteria for winning is in the comment section below this stream after it's over. Not the live stream, but the comment section. You have to mention a scene between me and my ghost of 2015. That's the nice thing about the live streams. He doesn't show up. Although we're working on a way he will someday. But the ghost of 2015 and me, you have to be fairly specific. You can't say, oh, that one time you yelled at him. I yell at him all the time. And so, you know, I don't want to give away a specific scene and have 30 versions of that listed down below. But let's see, there's 38 videos where the ghost appears. In 34 of them, he's in the opening scene, at least the opening scene. So really you only have to watch the first 3 minutes of a video if you just want to cheat. I've never watched his videos, but for 50 bucks. Welcome, Hypno's Best. Hello, Pascal Nay. Nice to see you again. Well, that was a good reason to miss it. Again, nobody... I'm not that... What's the word? Insecure? I love talking to people, so I don't take attendance. If somebody didn't show up in a stream, I figure they're busy. This is why I'm doing so many live streams right now. I am totally out of work right now, and I got a lot of free time. My wife tries to keep me busy, but normally I'd be doing a household project, and we've just started on one, but I'm waiting for next payday before we get any further on that one, and it's going to take months to do it. I'm totally remodeling our bedroom. We're peeling wallpaper off the wall. Our bedroom was remodeled 30 years ago. It needs an upgrade. But that's the last room in this house. Every other room in this house I have torn apart and remodeled. Our bedroom is the last. This basement, I do it all myself. The wiring, the plumbing, everything. Actually, my kids and wife help with several things. So again, let me see. Well, we just got the official announcement, Tommy, of the basics. I go back to work August 15th, 16th, whatever. That I'd have to look at the month schedule. Let's see, it's July. Yeah, August 13th is when I go back to work, or I'm supposed to go back to work. And we just got told how it's going to happen. And basically, they're doing half and half. Or I have to go into my building and teach half my students, and then I have to come home and teach online. And I will have half my students on Monday, half my students on Tuesday, and that's the plan for now. And then one of those 3 days I have to do an online teaching interaction with all my students. So it's like Monday, Tuesday, I teach directly to half my students, half of them on Monday, the other half on Tuesday. Wednesday, I have to do a live feed to collect homework and digital assignments, and then Thursday, Friday. That's the plan for now. They're still hammering details out. It's not going to be easy. I could retire. I've been eligible to retire for 2 years, and this could have been the shove to say, maybe I should walk out now so I don't have to do this, but I still like it. I still like my job for the most part. It's gotten harder, and it's not even the kids. It's principals, school leaders. It's the politics of the job and not the job. Yeah, I will definitely be catching that, David. Definitely. Speaking of David, hello, Dave Williams. Now Merthyr Central. Again, everybody, feel free to link your channel, link your, for example, David, if anybody here hasn't joined the Model Rail Network, why don't you post the YouTube channel and the Facebook page for that. Hey, Leslie Gilpin, nice to see you too. Hey, we're getting a few people in. Hey, John from SRV. So yes, pretty much all of you are empowered to post whatever you want to post. So Timber, you're still trying to find more subscribers. I'm sure most people here probably do subscribe. If you guys don't know, Timber Surf has a great channel that shows off his layout, but at the risk of misrepresenting it, definitely shows off a lot of his technical abilities. His lighting and everything else. So Timber Surf is definitely a model train channel you should see, especially if you want to add quality things to your channel, to your layout, I should say. Yes, Tommy, it is one of my wife's favorite German words, typisch. It is typical for us to go back mid-August. I would love to try to explain the American school system to all the non-Americans here, but there is no American school system. Every city does its own thing. So, in Toledo and the surrounding suburbs of Toledo, basically school starts middle of August and ends Memorial Day, and then we have the huge summer break. I know most people in the UK, you get like a 4 or a 5 week summer break. We do an 11-week summer break, 10 to 11 weeks. But then we get like a week off at Easter. We get a week and a half off at Christmas, New Year's. Then we got some scattered, very few daily holidays during the school year. Like we don't do Columbus Day, but we do President's Day and Martin Luther King Day. And Thanksgiving we get 3 days off now at Thanksgiving. Whereas I know in Germany, they get 6 weeks off in the summer, but they get like 2 to 3 weeks off at Easter and Christmas, and they get several other breaks through the year. So I think my students are in school 185 days a year, and in Germany it's 195, so it's only 10 more days in Germany. But the way we do it is just different. Hey, Chris. Thanks for stopping by. See you later. Bye, Lulu. All right, let's go to the long one for a second. Yeah, don't want to eat in front of you guys. Let's do up the ramp. Nice view of the IC1 and the Railjet and the ICE3 splitting them. You might see that near Delmenhorst other than the Railjet. The Railjets don't. The furthest north the Railjets go right now in Germany is Munich, or München, as we say in German, München, Munich. But they have just made a deal, and now, starting next year or the year after, there'll be a Railjet that runs from Vienna to Berlin and maybe Hamburg. I think they have just announced that they'll have Railjets running to Berlin and Hamburg. Yep, just emptied that, right? All right, let's do all view. There we go. So, yes, most of you on here, I've talked about it to you on your channels and comments and stuff. I did not grow up into trains. I have no connection to trains. When I was 6 or 7 years old, I got a train set for Christmas. This would be 1970. So I would have been 7. And it was a Tyco Santa Fe Super Chief train playset. And I played with it a few times. I didn't catch on to it. The train went in a circle and big deal. And I wasn't into trains. I had an Uncle Herb who worked for one of the, I think, CSX. I think he retired from CSX. And Herb was into model trains. He had a small model train set in his house, and when our local malls, usually once in the summer and once near Christmas, would have model train displays, you would find him there. I could go to that mall any time of day when they had the train sets, and he would be there. And Herb was a good guy. I liked Herb a lot. But I never got into it. It was not my thing. So I don't know train histories. I don't know train types. I know diesel, electric, and steam. And as anybody who's followed me knows, I got into model trains because of my trips in Germany. I have never used a car in Germany. I've always ridden the train. And in my classrooms, we talk about mass transportation in Germany. So I got the silly notion of putting them... Whoops. Sorry, I bumped my stop here. I keep bumping my stop. What am I pulling on? Sorry about that. I keep hitting the emergency stop button. I don't know why, but I guess I had my elbow too close to it. That's the problem if you don't pay attention to where you're leaning. But so we bought a model train. My wife said that was too nice to put in my classroom. And so my kids bought me some track and everything. I got the model train in October of 2015. Fell in love with the train. My kids bought me some American track. I mean, that's how I got into this track. I didn't know anything about this track. It just came up. My kids looked up American, saw American C-Track. They bought me the controller, the Mobile Station 2 controller and the track, and so that's what I was using before I knew anything. And just kept adding to it. But that's where I fell in love with it. That's why the Ghost of 2015 is so prominent. That was the that's where all of a sudden it clicked. I don't know how you want to put it any other way. That's how it clicked with me. It just running that train with all the functions. It had all these cool things it could do. Again, if it had just been a simple analog train, my apologies to those of you who love it, where maybe the only function it had was the lights, it probably wouldn't have done anything, but it was all the new stuff that you can do because of decoders, the sounds, the station announcements, the reversing lights, everything. It was just a totally new world to me, and I got into it before I knew what I was doing. So if you are a first timer here and haven't seen it yet, I will once again, here is the map of my layout. Most of you have seen it about 80 times now. This is drawn up by my friend Vinnie Van Gogh. I just have an undeveloped center to my right. As you're looking at it, you're right as well. Nothing prototypical. Eventually that will be the Bremen Hauptbahnhof main station. Hauptbahnhof means main station. That will be Bremen and a downtown section of Bremen. And then all this totally non-prototypical track. I have 3 main loops that run around. And then the left-hand side is the area I am working on slowly, which is Delmenhorst. I have a station and the bus station done. Let me see which one. This is the station and the bus station lit up at night. I don't have a camera that really shows it well. But that is my bus station and the Delmenhorst train station lit up, including the working bus lights, bus times announcements, which is actually tied into the German system. Just to give you an example, the top pictures in this slide are the actual station, and then a couple of pictures I have, other than the bottom left picture doesn't have the platforms on yet. But that's the lower level of the station. This is the the south entrance, the main entrance, the south entrance. And then on the right-hand side is the north entrance and a little Turkish kebab shop called the Elfin Grill. And it's, again, this is wasn't even when they were done, but it just gives you an idea. And if you don't know where Delmenhorst is, it's in the northwest part of Germany, but it's the actual city. Thank you, Hypno's Best. It's one of the things I do have a little pride. I'm usually very self-deprecating when it comes to my table and trains here because when I first got into the hobby in 2015, but about 2016, where I decided to actually try to build a layout, and you can see in 4 years I've gone not very far. I started with all the German sites because I'm doing Märklin trains and that I go to the German sites. And just like American and UK sites, the first answer you get when you ask a question is Google it. And hard to explain to people, I already Googled it. That's why I'm here now. And I met a lot of rivet counters. That was the worst thing in the world. When you're new into the hobby and you meet the rivet counters, the people that's the wrong way to do it. You did that stupidly. That's ugly. Why didn't you put catenary wire up? Why aren't you doing that? Those are the worst people in the world to run into when you're new in the hobby. And I ran into a lot of rivet counters. And I know people that came on YouTube or got into trains and literally turned right back out because of the rivet counters, the people that just literally chased them off. And and I knew I wasn't going to do anything supremely because even when I started building this, I was already having the nerve damage in my fingers and hands, and wasn't building things the way I used to paint and build things. I did a whole bunch of house construction, and between remodeling this basement and completely remodeling this kitchen in less than a year, a lot of power tools, and yeah, that was that kind of finished my hands off. It's genetic in my family to have arthritis and nerve damage in the hands. I don't know how it can be so specifically genetic, but I had toyed at one time with switching to N-gauge, and then I realized I couldn't handle N-gauge. Yeah, so Matt Slade is only 2 hours away from you, Timber Surf. Well, that's about how close my nearest model train shop is. All right, one more time, I'm going to put this up. I am running a 500 subscriber thank you contest. So to be in the contest, you must have been a subscriber before this live stream today. You have to either remember, or if you've never watched any of my videos, you have to pick one of the Model Train Outsider. Don't watch the Märklin Outsider, that won't get you anywhere. But you got to find me and the Ghost, and you got to decide your favorite bit between me and the Ghost of 2015. And you got to mention it in the comment section, not here in the live chat. Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. Goodbye, Dave. Goodbye, Dave. Goodbye, Dave Williams. Formerly Dave Aramis Dioramas, but changed his name to the new station he's building. And I think I would insult the Welsh language if I tried to pronounce that. It's been 36 years since I did what little studies I did into linguistics in Welsh and Celtic. There. I keep missing somebody there. But anyhow, so I will work out how to get it to you the best way possible. But the winner will get 50 American dollars or the Canadian equivalent, which I think is like 57, 58. 44 euros, as we say in English, or euros, as they say it over there. Euros. But in English, even in UK English, you say euros. Or the equivalent in whatever monetary system you have. Or 50 pounds sterling, or 40 pounds sterling, excuse me, 40 pounds sterling. Basically, it's the equivalent of 50 American dollars. And I'll leave the, I leave these streams up, but it has to be on this stream. It can't be on any other stream or any other video. It has to be on this stream. And once I think there's enough entrants, hopefully there'll be some, I will select a winner using the same system Kevin at Medway Peninsula used. My wife knows how to do that one, so she'll set it up for me. The key is, can I do it live? I might have to just do it as a premiere video. Well, if pictures mean anything and video means anything, Wales is a beautiful country. But then again, just about every country I've ever seen, been to, or seen pictures of is a beautiful country. Yes, they have their ugly parts too, but Wales is 2022. My wife and I will be doing 4 weeks in the UK in June of 2022. So sort of like 1 week per country. I don't think it'll be exactly like that, but we plan on doing Wales because we want to ride that. There's a train, and I was talking on David's live stream about it earlier. All I know is I've seen videos of it, like even during storms where it's right next to the seawall or right on the seawall, and the waves crash and splash over the train. Now, I know it's actually caused derailments or damage at times. We're not looking forward to that, but that would be cool in a twisted way. I think it would be really cool to be on a train and have the ocean waves crashing over the train. But we want to ride whatever that one is, whatever that particular line is in Wales. If Wales were hammered flat, it would be bigger than England. But we want to hit Wales. I know I want to see a couple of castles. Part of my trip to the UK is to see the castles. Like what is it, Carnarvon Castle, one of the big ones. I think that's in Wales. Kieran, maybe that's it. I don't know. So if that's what it's called, all the Welsh people can tell me which one it is. I've just seen videos of it, and I'm like, ooh, it's like a roller coaster. That would be so cool. Count yourself blessed. I started getting to travel the world. I was 40. Well, 39. No, 40. No, I hadn't turned 40 yet. I was almost 40. 39. I was right one of those times. The first time I left this continent, I'd been to Canada many times, but first time I left this continent, 2003, and spent 3 weeks in Germany, and then every year up through 2019 except 2016 I spent 4 weeks in Germany and some of the surrounding countries. But still, it's been Germany, a little bit of the Netherlands, 2 separate days in the Czech Republic, and some time in Austria. We went and saw Innsbruck. We were supposed to spend a couple of days in Vienna this summer. Obviously, that didn't happen. Yes, Leslie, there are hundreds of castles. I'm just going to hit a couple of the main ones. There's hundreds of castles in the UK, but I think we're going to spend, you know, if you go to the UK, you kind of have to see London. So I think we're going to spend, maybe come in, spend the night, 1 full day in London, part of the next day, and leave. That's a horrible way to do it, but there are other places in the UK we want to see, probably more. I'm going to go up to Liverpool for a day or two. I'm a Beatles geek, so I want to see some of the Beatles stuff up in Liverpool. Yes, I know it's all tourist and silly, but I only live once. Welcome, Shane's Trains. I have been to tons of castles in Germany, because in Germany, if you go along the Rhine River, there's a castle every mile. They literally are mile markers on the Rhine River. You take a boat trip up the Rhine, excuse me. Wow. You take a boat trip up the Rhine, and on your left is Schönberg Castle. Now on your right is Baccarat Castle, and on your left is Liebenstein Castle. Now on your right is Burgkatz, and that's not the actual order, but you get the idea. Well, hey, Lee, good to see you. I didn't see you sneak in. Yes, I am fully willing to meet anybody that would actually want to meet me while we're over in the UK. I don't know. I'm not asking for anything, but there's some people I would like to see, but I think I'd be embarrassed to ask. I mean, to be honest, I would pay to go to Lewis's house and see Moldy Raspberry layout, Lewis at Moldy Raspberry. And to be honest, I would pay to see Everard Junction's layout. But Everard's got 60,000, 65,000. What's he up to? Maybe 70,000 subscribers now. I don't think he wants some goofball American coming to his house, as polite and friendly as he seems to be. But, I mean, those are just layouts in the UK I would love to see. I would have loved to have seen Richard at New Junctions, the original New Junction. I would have loved to have seen that. I would love to see one of yours, David, but you keep tearing them down. Yeah, Beauport is just north of where, when I go to the Rhine, I usually stay in the town of Saint-Goar, which is about 15 minutes south of Koblenz, David. Beauport's really cool. It's got that Roman fortress, and yeah, you got that huge needle hook bend in the river. Yeah, Shane's Trains, we were supposed to go to Bamberg this year as well. Our trip to Germany this year was, we were going to stay in Freiburg near the south of the Black Forest. And while we were down in Freiburg for a week, we were going to go into Switzerland and do some stuff. And then we were going over to the city of Prien on Chiemsee, Prien on Lake Chiem, little town. But we were going to go see the Porsche DreamWorks model train and toy museum. We were going to go down to Salzburg, and then from there we were going to Vienna, and then our last few days we were going to stay in Bamberg, and while in Bamberg we were going to go over to Rothenburg on Ob der Taube. So we had a pretty full trip planned, and that got canceled. Well, I'll tell you right now, Martin, Scandinavia is definitely on the list, and if I'm able to travel in 2023, financially and physically, if I'm able to travel, Scandinavia is 2023. We're doing Germany again in 2021, the UK in 2022, and then I'm retiring from work, so we'll see how money goes. But also, 2-3 years down the line, it's hard to project where my health situation will be. Yes, Colonel von Stauffenberg. Yep, was from Bamberg. Slightly made more heroic in the movies and stuff than he was in real life, but in the end he did try to do something heroic. The odd story is how many times he missed. There were several plots against Hitler and they all failed. There was only one that actually got off, but they had one, the guy had a gun and he pulled it out in the crowd and was going to shoot Hitler and the gun jammed. Somebody tried sabotaging Hitler's private plane for when he flew from Berlin to Berchtesgaden and the Eagle's Nest, and that failed. Well, that would be awesome, Timber Surf, to meet up. I would love to see, because where I live, we have one model train show a year. It's small, and it's the same 6 layouts, which I've seen several times. And it's only 6 layouts. And then there's a few local salespeople. Then there's a big one in Michigan, but it's more people selling goods than it is showing off their layouts. Now, there's a major show in the United States each year by the National Model Railway Association. They have a big national convention. And that's where all the big, even the foreign companies come to that one. But like, even when I go to the local model train shows, it's great to see the layouts. But shopping, unless I'm shopping for scenery, you know, like ballast or static grass or something, it doesn't happen. Hey, welcome back, Chris. Hi, Jackie. Hope you're well. I know this sounds bad, but I guess you have to kind of know where I come from. It gets frustrating because I have money and I want to buy stuff, but nobody has the stuff I do because I chose to do an obscure thing in America. Modern German trains on the Märklin C-track system. So, yeah, I mean, I made my bed, I lay in it. But, like, Märklin attends 5 shows in the United States. They put up a booth for 5 shows in the United States. 2 on the East Coast, 2 on the West Coast, and then 1 in Wisconsin, which is about a 10-hour drive from here. But I would love to see, heck, I would love to see Warley, but Warley, I would not be able to see Warley for 12 years because that's when my wife gets to retire. So I can't travel in November. I can travel in, right now, June, July, and the first couple of weeks of August, but we never travel in August because it's too close to going back to work. So we always travel as soon as the school year ends, and we hit the skyways and the railways. But my wife has to teach like 8 to 10 years longer than I do because they changed our retirement rules and I got grandfathered into one system and she's stuck in the other system. Not fun. Well, Leslie, true. And I assume it's busy and crowded. I don't mind the crowds. I expect crowds if I go to some. Crowds means the show will be happening again next year, you know? Sometimes when you go somewhere, you go see the stuff that everybody's there to go see. Even though they say, if you really want to experience Prague, don't go here, don't go there. That's where all the tourists go. Well, I'm going to be a tourist. I want to see the stuff Prague is famous for. But yeah, I would love to see, because I see all your videos of the different shows you go to, and I would love to go to a UK model train, because I just love the creativity. I love the workmanship. I love the skill. I love the dedication. You know, when I type on your videos and stuff and say, great job, yeah, you can be like me and say, no, it isn't. But for me, it is. My father taught me, he didn't teach me many good things, but one of the lessons I did take to heart from him was, if somebody can do something better than you, give them credit and show appreciation for it. And if you can do something better than somebody else, politely show them how to do it if they want to learn. And I think it was funny that my father used the word polite, because I don't think he'd ever describe my father as polite. What do we got happening? Yeah, everything's coming through the 11 lane again. But, you know, for me, I'm so lazy. I mean, there's a lot I could be doing, and I'm not doing it because I just I don't feel like it. But in the end, it's really because what you see here, I'm happy with. I love watching my trains go in circles. And I was just watching somebody's video yesterday where they were like, you know, all you're doing is, you know, they said, unless you're really putting stuff in, all you're doing is just having a big circle of trains, and that's boring. Well, okay, to them it's boring. To me, I like watching some of your circles of trains. I mean, if David Cottesmore is still here, I don't want it come out wrong, but today he was running a circle of trains. One circle and different trains. I loved it. I love the different trains he ran, and I'm trying to learn from you guys. Okay, I know what a Class 37 is, but wait, what's the difference between a 158 and a 159? What's this? Not that Dave was running 158s and 159s. And you guys are yelling, no, not an NRE, no, not a GLR. You know, and I'm like, wait a minute, what are those? Okay, GWR is Great Western Railways. What's NRE? North Rhodesian Express? What? I don't know. And I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah, David, that's exactly because I can. To me, it's so much about running the trains. I put these loops up long before I should have on this table because I can run trains. And then it's like, wait, I can build 2 loops. Wait, I can build 3. No, I can have 6 trains running at a time if I want. And when I first got into this, I had people going, what, you're not going to put a branch line in there? And I go, what's a branch line? Are you really running those 3 loops all the way around your track? Don't they combine and condense down to 2 somewhere on the way? Well, okay, I went to Google Maps and said, hey, yeah, they do. Well, then your layout needs to do that. No, it doesn't. Wow, nobody's here. Let's see who's up here. There's that metronome, a nice view of the metronome. I am running them in reverse just to show that, yes, they do. I'm a free thinker. I accept everything. The metronome goes both ways. I'm cool with that. Exactly, Sparky. It is. It's a loop. It's just... Sparky, I have a friend named Steve, and Steve might be listening. Steve has a house that's just a layout. Or not a layout, it's a run. He's got some sections, but our friend Matt filmed it. It takes, to do 1 loop on his layout that he's got all over his basement, and I think it even goes partially upstairs. It takes 12 minutes for a train to complete one segment loop, and he's got 3 segments. It takes a train from the shortest loop is 7.5 minutes. The biggest loop that a train can run is 12.5 minutes. Can you imagine that? A model train taking 12 minutes to run your layout? That's amazing. Hey, David, welcome back. And I think it takes 45 seconds for my railjet to run the full expanse of my layout. And again, I will put the map up just real quick and give you some of the dimensions. If you look at my map, again, a gift from my friend Vinnie Van Gogh. It is 22 feet from corner to corner. Now it's a rounded corner, but it's 22 feet. The table is 22 feet on that long run. So if I do the long run, it is about, what you can see here is about 21.5 feet, because there's about 6 inches behind the camera you can't see. Maybe not even that much. So where that rail jet is going right now, heading up, that's my long run. That's 22 feet. So then on the left side, the Delmenhorst side, that is just, skip the middle section where my control area is, skip that. If you think of that as one separate table, as a module, that module is 8 foot wide and 12 feet 4 inches. Let's just round it up and say 12.5, but 12 1/3. It is 8 foot by 12.5 foot. The other side is 8 foot by 11.5 foot. So 8 by 12.5, 8 by 11.5. And then the middle section is 5 foot by 30 inches. 5 foot long, 30 inches deep. And every person who's built a true, that's the wrong word, has built a layout. Let's go back to the cameras now. Let's do this one. We got a couple of guys coming in that way. Got a lot of guys going that way right now. You know the rule is not much more than 30 inches to 36 inches so you can reach things. Yeah. Wasn't thinking about that. I was thinking about fitting in as much of the city of Delmenhorst as I could. And so it's 8 foot wide. So I have sections in the middle that are very hard to reach without me crawling up on a couple of my 3-foot stools with a couple of 4x4 posts across. When I go to put things in the middle, I have to jerry-rig a little bridge over my layout. I do want to cut a square out and crawl under and get up there. I don't think that's happening. All right, David, thanks for stopping by. We really appreciate that. Yeah, I've been on for almost 2 hours. So when you, again, to go back to the map, when you look, that's a lot of space. Probably most of you guys in here could do a lot more in this space. And if you ran N scale, wow, what you could do with this space. This is a lot of space. It's probably more running footage than most of the layouts in the loft people have. But you know, just to put some of the more famous names out there, somebody like Everard Junction, who's got that big layout in his loft. It's a foot, 2 foot long, wide, circles all the way around his loft, 15 feet, 18 feet, 15 feet, 18 feet, however it works out. And those are nice long runs for 00 trains. So I roughly have that same footage here, 22 by 12.5 on the long side. If I had built one giant oval loop here and had multiple rises going up and down, I really could have done something impressive. But I was trying to build an actual cityscape. where it's just tracks going around, but build an actual city as well. Because in the end, as you've heard me say ad nauseum, I'm not just trying to build a train table and layout. I am trying to recreate my German hometown of Delmenhorst. So that's what sort of my goal in the long run is. And then the big main train hub east, and this actually is going east. Actually, no, it's going more north, is Bremen. So I figured on one side I'd build the big Bremen train station, on the other side the Delmenhorst, and just run trains back and forth. But that means nothing's prototypical. That means, for example, the metronome, the yellow and blue train here, yellow, blue, and white train, that never goes into Delmenhorst. The railjet never goes into Delmenhorst, and yet my railjet is going into Delmenhorst as we speak. We haven't done that one in a while. Let's... Jason, I think I can actually go along with that. I am very symmetrical. Things have got to be balanced. Things have got to be even for the most part. And all my kids are more into very artistic, winging it sort of, whether designing a room or furniture or paintings. I want very symmetrical and balanced, and my kids are all, they inherited, they didn't inherit their artistic genes from me. Well, greetings. I believe that is Wilmer, Grandpa Rails. Again, anybody here, you are free to advertise any channel or group that is train or model hobby related. Doesn't just have to be yours, but if you want to post a link, I make everybody mods. If I've missed somebody, I will catch up with you so that you can post a link to everything. We just do not post political stuff, do not post dating or porn sites. I think we can all agree to that. Oops, I should have moved. Let's see, what's a good one? 11 lanes getting busy again. But this just lets you see everything I'm running. All 6 trains somehow in the picture there. So let's go up the ramp. We got some guys coming up. That is a BR-101. It is one of the 3, I think it's now down to, well, no, 3 electric high-speed locomotives left in the German rail. They just retired the BR-120. So it's the 101, the 112, and the 113. And I'm not sure the 113 isn't retired. I'd have to look it up. But those are now the high-speed locomotives. Check that. I lied. I always forget this one. There's the 146.5 in white, is also a high-speed locomotive. But as far as the red locomotives go, the IC, the 146.5 locomotive is also high speed. So there's 4. 3 are in the Deutsche Bahn red. The 146.5, which is coming around. You'll see it coming in from the bottom right-hand corner of this video here. There's the 146.5 right now. That is the only locomotive that is in the, well, there's a 147, which is an upgrade of that. But that is the only locomotive that's in the high-speed white with the red stripe. The other 3 locomotives are red. Now, again, when you look at the ICE here, in German we just call those control cabs, Steuerwagen. They're not, or power cars. I don't know what they're called in reality. Yes, I am. Jason, yes, I am a member. Or I was. Facebook's been acting weird lately, but yeah, I was a member. Year and a half ago I joined, or whenever. I'll double check. Now let's put this on all scenes. I know I joined a long time ago, but all of a sudden lately I've noticed I haven't been getting updates, but I scroll through Facebook so fast I don't even see what's going on. Okay, well, I'll take with that later. Let's see, that is that group, that's this one. NRYCG. There it is. Yeah, I'm liked. I'm still on it. Model Railway YouTube Community Group, or... Oh, the group. The group. I'm not in the group. I'm on the public page, but not the private page. Well, there, I sent a request. Well, I read them before. Oh, there's more. Wow. No hate speech or bullying. Good. Be kind and courteous. I always am kind and courteous. And if you disagree, I'll kick your butt. Respect everyone's privacy. I always respect your privacy, but some of you need to shut your blinds. So we'll submit and see where that goes. Okay. All right, let's go back to Train World. There I am. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Martin, I totally missed this. I'm focusing on trains and missing questions. The ICE one, I am still waiting for the 2 cars to come from Germany. I bought them from an eBay seller in Germany, and he said at the time, because of the showstopper, the virus, that his local post office wasn't accepting and shipping things, or was going to cost him $60-some to ship it, so he was waiting to see how things changed. That was a month and a half ago. So, yeah, I probably need to contact the person and say, hey, I paid for it. I paid for the shipping quote. Give me my cars. So once I've got them all, I'm going to ship them probably to Helmut's, because Andrew Chevalier has been very quiet on his site lately. But I'm going to send them to Helmut's. If you don't know, Helmut's is a big model train hobby store and customizing shop here in the United States. Helmut's Hobbies. But they're kind of expensive. All my previous customizations were done by AC Euro Trains in Stockton, California. Andrew Chevalier, who's the AC in AC Euro. He's also a licensed Pico dealer and repairman. He did all my other ones, and he's done awesome. Like, he converted my DC check railjet locomotive to an AC and put in a new chip, and man, is it wonderful. It's probably my favorite locomotive. It's just not running right now. But he does most of my customization. But last time I talked to him, he wasn't really thrilled with the idea of trying to do an ICE1 full remodel. So I'm going to have to pay the money and get it done. All right, I'm going to do this one more time just to catch everybody up. I am running a 500 subscriber contest. If you told me a year ago I'd be at 500 subscribers, I would have asked you, where'd you buy your meth? I was shocked when I got to 100. I was really shocked when I got to 200. My subscribers doubled once I started doing the Merklin show because a lot of Merklin people came in. And I went to 400 very quickly, slowly climbed up to about 450. Then Tristan at Double O'Neill out of the blue gave me a very polite and undeserved shout out. And I got another boost of about 30 over the next 3 days. And then things went quiet, and then all of a sudden I've had another big boost since I started doing live streams, and now I'm at 540. But I'm doing a 500 because that seems to be the tradition. I've seen most of you do. So I'm doing my little bit. So the winner will get the equivalent of 50 American dollars. So you just figure it out in your money. This is based on yesterday's exchange rates from my webpage. But anyhow, you must have already been a subscriber. So if you just joined now, I'm sorry. Just because I want to avoid people who are joining just to get $50, or to try to get $50. And here's the contest. Everybody has their own way of doing a contest. This is mine. You have to be able to mention a specific scene between me and the Ghost of 2015. Now, if you don't know who the Ghost of 2015 is, then already you don't know my channel. But you have to pick a scene. There are 38 videos in which the ghost appears, and you have to specifically, that one time you did this to him, or he did that, or when you showed him that, or whatever. You know, you got to have something specific that shows me you kind of watched an episode, and you put that in the comment section, not the live stream chat, the comment section after this video goes up. And I will do some sort of video where I show the selection and the winner, and then once I have a winner, I will work out with them the best way to get them the money, even if it's just to mail 50 American dollars and tell you to take it to your bank and exchange it. But we'll work that out later. All right, let's go to what's going on in the train world again. Ah, yes, I remember 44. At the age of 44, between the ages of 41 and 44, I went from 230 pounds to close to 300 pounds over a 3-year period. I had stopped playing sports, stopped coaching sports, but I was still eating like I was participating in sports. And I just ballooned. And then I joined the gym and got back down to 250. And then the last couple of years, I ballooned again. And my doctor finally said, Sonny, you need to lose some weight again. So I'm down 25 pounds, or what is that, about 11 kilos, about 25 pounds I'm down since January. I was, let's see, I'm 56, so that was, 12 years ago for me. I'm second to last in my family. I had 3 older sisters. I briefly had one younger brother who was about 1.5 years younger than me, 2 years younger than me, but he died like within a few months after birth. He was born with all kinds of problems, and then my mom had a couple of miscarriages, and then my brother, who's 4 years younger than me, he came out of nowhere. He was what they call an oops baby. The doctor said my mom would never get pregnant again, and even if that somehow happened, she'd never be able to carry a baby to full term. And I guess my mom, being the stubborn woman that she was, proved them wrong, because my brother came along. So there were 5 of us that made it to adulthood. But let's see. My grandfather, if he were alive today, would be 130. That's my grandfather. He was born in 1890. My dad was born in 1930. And then my dad was 33 when he had me. But my mom basically, my mom spent 10 years pregnant. Can you imagine that? 10 straight years pregnant. My parents got married in 59, and my dad was 10 years older than my mom. My dad was 10 years older. My dad was 28, and she was 18 when they got married. So a year after they got married, they had my sister, my oldest sister, Tina. She was born in Christmas of 59. And then my next sister was born of March of 61, so my mom was pregnant through most of 60. My next sister was born February of 62. My mom had a miscarriage towards the end of 62, early in 63. Then she was pregnant with me in 63. And then she was pregnant 64, 65 with the one brother who died. Then she had at least 2 more miscarriages before my brother was born in 68. So yeah, my mom spent 59 to 68 pregnant. Isn't that amazing? Let's see, what's going on? Let's follow a train around for a bit. Let's do the long view. We'll catch the rail jet coming through. We'll do the long view. Now that he's done with the long view, we'll do up the ramp. Catch this guy coming around. And now as he's going around, beautiful cars. Dark magenta. Now he's in the station. Coming through the station. Now coming to Village View. And then he's passing in front of me, which you can't see. And now coming up the 11 lane. Well, Shane's trains, absolutely. Although technically, every video I do is arguing with myself. I've explained this a couple of times, either in videos or live feeds. Let's go back to scenery here. The Ghost of 2015 is basically the other half of my split personality. It's not multiple personality disorder, it's not schizophrenia, but I have very 2 distinct sides to my personality. I have a very positive, artistic side. I'm a writer. I've had a book published. It didn't do well, but I did have a book published. That's why I'm still teaching. Very artistic, very creative side. Has great visions of cool things to do and to build and to make. And then I have the very practical, not negative side, but not very artistic. Very, I hate doing this and blah, 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 blah. And everybody in my family knows those 2 sides of me. And so my students, everybody knows sort of these two different sides of my personality. And so when I started a channel, it became a joke. Everything I do in my videos is a joke to my family, friends, and even my former students that still follow me, which is probably half my subscriptions. So 2015 is just sort of the happier, it's yin and yang, put it that way. It's yin and yang. Yeah, Heath, those figures are my, what's left of my wargaming figures. Let's see, that's probably best seen, no, not in the station view, in the village view. Yeah, those are what's left of my wargaming, my three-dimensional wargaming. Basically, it's mostly Lord of the Rings. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings geek. I'm a huge Beatles geek. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings geek, except I hate the Lord of the Rings movies. Don't want to talk about it. I just do not like the movies. They filled me with so much hope and disappointed me on such a deep level. I do not like the Peter Jackson movies. And a lot of people that thought I was crazy then saw the Hobbit movies and go, oh my God, he destroyed the Hobbit. I said, that's what he did to Lord of the Rings. Just most people don't really read the Lord of the Rings books. They just saw the movies and said, I'm happy. But I hate the movies. But yeah, that's my three-dimensional. I still have another form of wargaming. I don't know if anybody here ever did this. Let me know. I'll grab something real quick. See, I got to remember to be off by 3 o'clock because Rachel's going live at 3. Then again, wasn't somebody going live at, well, 3 my time, 8 your time? Wasn't somebody going live at like 6 or 7 your time? Anyhow, let me put these up. See if anybody ever did these. This is Old World. Did anybody ever do box top war games where you had a map and square chits? This type of wargaming? Hexagonal map inside. This was my first real hobby. This is the famous company Bookcase Games by Avalon Hill. So these were the old war games I did. Again, hexagonal map, paper map or hardboard map. Is it easy to get one out here? Oh, here's a part of a map. Look at those shaking fingers, huh? Not fun. But, you know, you had hexagonal maps like this. This is a grand strategy, so it's like all of Europe and the Napoleonic Wars. I have not opened this box probably 10 years. The little pieces were little square chits, we call them. Chits, C-H-I-T-S. Chits. Daddy did not say a bad word there, kids. But that was my first real hobby. And then from there, I began buying those Airfix. Let's see, who's going? Let's go back to up the ramp. We got a couple of guys coming around there. Actually, let's go station. See a couple of guys pulling through. And then we'll hit 11 lane when they're done, because about that time we'll have a lot of guys there. And from there, I started buying those Airfix, HO. I talked about this at least 3 times now. Those little HO, 00 scale Airfix plastic soldiers. And I painted those all up and would build dioramas with them. I started in World War II and then got into World War I. Then it was Napoleonic and Civil War. And gradually I moved up to Medieval War. And I loved that. But those pieces, and I probably had about 5,000 of them, and every single one painted. Which is why I probably have bad hand nerves and eyesight today. 5,000 of those puppies painted. Hello, Somerset Andy. Welcome, and let me knight you. There, you're knighted. Now you can post the link to your channel and get some subscribers. That must have gone before I... Yeah, you should be knighted. Next time you come up, you'll be blue. Nice to have you, Somerset Andy. There are so many Andys, I have to call you by your additional names. Moreland Andy, Somerset Andy, Warwick Andy. But anyhow, so then I moved up to the 25, 28 millimeter scale, which is basically Warhammer. If you guys know Warhammer, Warhammer 40K. And from there, I migrated into Lord of the Rings in the 80s. And then when the movies came out, I bought all the new Games Workshop stuff. Let me see. Somebody mentioned the movies. Shane's Trains brought it up. Well, that's just it, Shane. The movies didn't do justice to the books. No, you can't do the entirety of Lord of the Rings. But the thing is, he did three-hour movies. And the hour-long Rankin Bass cartoon was closer to the books. I mean, literally, Lord of the Rings movies by Peter Jackson were about as close to the books and the characters in the books as if they had been Harry Potter movies. I mean, that's about how close they were. They didn't get a single character right. You know, for people who don't know Lord of the Rings, Frodo is not 20. Frodo is 50 years old, which is about the equivalent of mid-30s to 40 for a hobbit. He's not a kid. They made all the drug jokes with Gandalf, and I guarantee you the Tolkien family was pissed about the drug jokes. The way they portrayed Gandalf, Merry, Pippin, Denethor, Aragorn, none of them were the characters they are in the book. It's one thing to say, hey, I can't put this scene in, I can't put that scene in, but get the characters right. Get the characters right. Or at least close to right. The old 70s cartoon by Ralph Bakshi was a much better representation of the characters. I'll just give you one example, because otherwise I'll talk for 7 hours about it. The character Boromir. In the books, Boromir is a jerk. I got to keep it PG-13 here. Boromir is a complete and utter jerk. There is not really much of a redeeming quality about him. And they added all these scenes in the movies trying to make Boromir look like he's not a bad guy. And when Boromir dies, in the movie, he looks up to Aragorn and he says, I would have followed you, my brother, my captain, my king. That is the exact opposite of what he says in the movies. Because Boromir doesn't exactly know, but he starts to realize that Aragorn is the future ruler. And you got to understand, Boromir has been raised to be the next ruler of Gondor. The kings have been gone for 1,000 years. Okay? They don't bring that on. The kings have been gone for 1,000 years in Gondor. They've been hidden in the north for 1,000 years. And his dad, Denethor, has basically ruled as king, and Denethor's father and that father before him for 1,000 years, but they never took the title of king because they thought it would cause a civil war, blah, blah, blah. But Boromir expects to be the next ruler of Gondor. Aragorn is a direct cutoff. Think the British War of the Roses here. If that dude's alive, I don't get to become king. He has to die. And when Boromir does get killed, when he dies, he looks to Aragorn and he says, Aragorn, go to my city, save my people. Even in his death, Boromir refuses to acknowledge that Aragorn is the future king. He dies. Go to my city, save my people. And Jackson totally changes that character. He makes Aragorn a complete wimpy, whiny dude. I'm scared if I become king, all these bad things. Aragorn in the book is an arrogant jerk, but he's got a good side to him. Anyhow, that's enough of that. Sorry. Yeah, well, Aragorn's a bit of a stuck-up snob too in the book, Shane's, but he's also got his good qualities, and he is a legitimate king. But even the way they did Denethor, they took Boromir, who was a jerk, and made him sympathetic, and then they took Denethor, who is sympathetic, and made him totally unsympathetic. And then I won't even talk about how many times the ring comes out and gets dropped in the movies. That ring comes out very, very rarely in the books, and Frodo's taking it out and dropping it everywhere. Oops, I dropped it in the snow. Oops, I dropped it in the sand here. Oops. Really, Frodo? Really? Visually, it was stunning. Visually, oh my gosh, that's Middle Earth. But in terms of getting the characters and the story right, totally wrong. Totally wrong. There are scenes I do love. I do love the charge of the Rohirrim at the beginning, because in the third movie, because it's a great scene in the book too. See, now I'm still going. You got me going. I got to. Ooh, look, trains, people, trains, nice trains. But I really should start winding down here so I don't cut into Rachel's bit. All right, so one more time. If you were already a subscriber to my page before you joined this live feed today, here is the contest celebrating the shocking 500 subs. I am so shocked, I am giving away 50 American dollars. Okay, 50 American dollars isn't worth what it used to be a few years ago, but shut up, it's still 50 bucks. Or the equivalent. So if you're in a country that uses euros, like Ireland or most of Central Europe, you'll get about 44 euros. If you're in God's own country of Great Britain, the UK, you will get 40 pounds sterling, or guineas, or quid, or whatever else you might call them. And the way you win it is, once this video is done, once this live stream is done and gets loaded up as just another insane video, you will comment below, not here in the live stream, you will comment below. Guineas are not pounds? What's a guinea then? By golly, I've been watching British shows for years, and it's always been 50 pounds, 50 guineas. What's a guinea? Hey, I'm an American. If you came into America and I said, give me a couple of Bens and an Andrew, would you know what I'm saying? Huh? 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 Yeah, that's what I thought. So, that's about the same difference between a quart and a liter, 1 to 1.05. But anyhow, in those comment sections below, try to find a scene where me and the Ghost of 2015 interact and be able to describe it enough that I'd say, I know exactly which video you're talking about. Now, if you type something like, where you yell at him in video 7, I'm not accepting that. You got to describe the scene. When you called him a purple-headed mugwump, that was hilarious. You know, something like that. You got to be a little more precise than that. Again, you don't have to play if you don't want to. And somebody I saw, was it... two Bens and a couple of Andrews. You might find it on urban slang. It's $50. I'm sorry, no, it's not $50. That's two hammies. That's one hammy and two Andrews. A Benny is a C note. All right. So anyhow, but you got to drop it in the comment section, not the live chat, in the comment section, and I will film drawing a winner once I get everybody in there. So it's got to be on this particular live stream comment section. Oops. And what we will do is start to wind down because I know somebody is coming on soon. So. I like to park everybody over here. They're safer. There we go. Oh, he's still over there. All right, well, we'll get him next time. All right, so anyhow, I want to thank you for being on this another wild and crazy boring trip into my live feed. Hopefully you saw some things you liked. Anyhow, again, if you want to take part, somebody mentioned donating the money to charity. To be honest, my wife and I donate a lot of money to charities. We give as much away as we keep. So this is just the person that wins the money can give it to charity if they wish. This is not going to come out of any budget other than my little model train budget, which I'll be able to get back here because the next train I'm buying will either be the Hatton's 00, well, it's Hornby 00 gauge. I am buying a 00 gauge train, the Eurostar Yellow Submarine, because I'm a Beatles geek and what the heck. I'll eventually get it converted to AC and run it on my layout someday. It'll probably be expensive to do it, but someday. But I'm buying that one. And then an ICE4, which is the next big one. So this comes out of my train money. So don't feel bad. So anyhow, everybody, please be safe, be cool. I want to thank everybody who came in. It was nice to see all the names chatting. And I will leave this up so people who didn't watch it can come in and find out. But yes, the rules are important. Specifically, follow the rules. So anyhow, I want to say Auf Wiedersehen and happy trains. See you later.